Let's try it again. Hover cam. I'm not going to be able to show you. It's what's under there. Oh. It's like a little square, so forth, and it's kind of the main processor that does the everything. And there's other memory too, but that's what that is. That didn't go as well as I thought because I don't have any of them that shows the CPU. I really don't know very much about these three. Whenever I come here, I always look at CPU and memory and try to figure out why my computer's running so slow. You can scroll over to the right. It says my power usage is very high. That's interesting. Red doesn't usually mean good, does it? That's a service host, whatever that is. Is yours red? Probably normal. Now, if you click performance over here, this will provide a graphical view. To me, this doesn't mean as much, but it'll tell you how much your computer's being utilized and so forth. So if you're sitting up here at a 95% utilization constantly, then that means you maybe have too much running. So there's an app history. So if you click this tab up here, this will give you a little bit of information about what you've ran, how much memory it used, CPU time, network, so forth. If you click Startup, these are all the things that run when I start up. Spotify, what's Spotify? Oh, it's disabled. As I say, I don't use Spotify, whatever that is. Skype for Business. Remember me saying I don't think I need my Skype for Business anymore? If I right click on this, see how there's a disable? So the next time I reboot, if I click disable, then it shouldn't come up. So if you do have something here that you don't want, I don't want Java update schedule, I'm not sure why I have that. I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to choose disable. OneDrive I don't use, so I'm going to right click on that and disable. When your computer boots up, it'll boot up faster because it doesn't have those items to load up. And I always tell people this, I mean, don't get rid of it because you don't know what it is. You know, go to Google, see what in the world a Spotify is. Sounds like a social media or something. Oh, is it? Oh, I need that. Music. I've never played that. Huh. But yeah, so they must have disabled that when they set up this computer for me. Why it's on there in the first place, I don't know. Again, you can have fewer details here. Shows those. More details goes back. Now users. Probably this doesn't mean a whole lot for most of you, but if you have different users set up on your computer, such that your children can come and use your computer, grandchildren, whatever it is, and you don't want them signing on as you, because you don't want potentially something to happen, then you could have multiple users signed on. So. Now, can you go in and see what games they play? You can sign in, if you sign in as them, you can see the app history. So you can see what they've run. But some of them are deceiving. Like I've never played Groove Music. I don't even know what it is. Usually when I do music, I go to YouTube. If you're not using the music on YouTube, you're really missing something. Because you can go there and type in like Year of the Cat, and it finds Al Stewart, and you can do a playlist. And I don't know how they make any money because I wouldn't pay for it when I go to YouTube and just listen to it. But yeah, that's how you can see what they've done. Now here's details on what's everything that's running. I have an easy resume running. Maybe that's easy resume. This is I would probably if I'm suspecting it of something, I would go research it. Easy resume. What the hell is that? A resume. Easy resume resume task. Hmm. Could be that's the resume builder. I've never used an online resume builder. You ever get a new computer from Best Buy? You take it home and it's got all this junk loaded on it. They'll load a lot of this just have it loaded for you. Well, that's fine, except for it takes up memory, and I don't want my computer to run slower than it has to. Now, you really need to know what you're doing here, like this. If you right click on it, you see how there's an end task. Well, if you do an end task on the wrong thing, it'll crash your computer again. So I'm not going to risk that. Now, notice I got Chrome, and it's got a lot of instances running, right? I think I only got one Chrome. Sometimes when you close Chrome out, it still leaves it out here. Now, it's no big deal. You can reset your computer, and then it'll clean it out, so you have no Chromes left. But sometimes you got some residue left over where it keeps running that program unless you reboot. Now, this has been a while. This was about 20 years ago. Used to be Microsoft Excel is if you went in and out of it over and over all day long, it didn't free the memory back. And this was from Microsoft. And I'd sit on the help desk, we get these calls. And it'd say, well, my computer's got slower and slower as the day went on. Has anybody ever had that happen? It could be that same thing where you got a program that you go in and out of, and it's supposed to give all the memory back to Windows. Say, okay, I'm done running, you can have it now. But sometimes it doesn't free that up. Usually rebooting it then gives you all of your memory back. Yeah, that was always easy call whenever they called and say, have you been in and out of Excel all day long? And say, yeah, I've been going in and out. Reboot and it should be fixed temporarily. Services over here. You could stop the service if you know what it is. I have no clue what any of these are. I wouldn't even try to stop it. In services, let's see. I don't see a Microsoft. And some of them are here, but they're stopped. See how those are stopped? Means I'm not running a program that needs that service. So otherwise, if it loaded every one of these whenever you used it, like see here, I have my Bluetooth. My Bluetooth is stopped. Probably if I enabled Bluetooth, then it would be running. I got a computer at home that I installed a bunch of items on it. It's got so much running on it that it just takes 15, 20 minutes to boot up. So when I restart, it takes that long to get, and it's a decent computer. Okay, probably more information you want about Task Manager, but if you got a task that's hung up, you can either reboot or come in here and gamble whether you can right click on it and choose end task and then whether to free your computer up or not. Not many things. If you do the fewer details, like these right here, there's not many of these will actually crash your computer. That's why they have fewer details. So you don't try to crash some of the Windows ones. Like Google Chrome here, if I right click on that and choose end task, see it didn't crash my computer, did it? Get that back and running though. Restore, yeah. Okay, so go ahead and click the X in the upper right hand corner to close that window. That's pretty all I wanted to show you in the File Explorer. Now we got this bar down here, and a lot of different things with it. Somewhere in here you have a blank for your bar. Go ahead and right click on it. Now you see down here it says taskbar settings, lock the taskbar, task manager, show the desktop, so forth. Mine has lock the taskbar selected. Now if I unselect that, now if I click in this area, left mouse click and hold down and drag, I can move it to the side. If I again click in the blank area here with my left mouse button, I right clicked on it, and there's a lock the taskbar here. Put it on top if you like, on the side, that side. You can even, I think, no, it's not. I thought you could have it float. Now that throws people, because if you have it over on the side here, how it pops up is just very different than what you're used to. So I'm gonna put mine back down here. And typically, when you got it where you want, you just want to make sure you right click again and lock it. And now if you try to move it, it won't move. Now if you right click, you see there's taskbar settings. So if I choose this taskbar settings, this brings it up, and it's a little bit more user-friendly on some items. You see there's one that says automatically hide the taskbar in desktop mode. Go ahead and click to the right here to turn it on. Now our taskbar disappeared, didn't it? If I put my mouse down on the very bottom, not click or anything, just put it down there. Yeah, it's supposed to appear. Okay, I had to close that window. If you come down here and put your mouse on it, it pops up. I forget what in the world I was using. I think it was Blackboard. And it was putting the window down far enough where I couldn't click the button. Have you ever had that happen? Yeah. And you're sitting there, I can't click it. It's hidden behind the taskbar. This is how you can hide your taskbar so you can click that button. Or if you just want more screen space, you don't want that taken up, then you can get more screen space by doing that. Again, I'm going to put my mouse over that, right click, and go back to taskbar settings. I don't like it hiding, so I'm going to shut mine off. I never have had a tablet mode, but that's the same principle there. Automatically hide it in tablet mode. I assume that's one of those computers where you can take off your screen and use it as a tablet. You see there's a small taskbar buttons here. If you choose that, your icons become smaller. And we're going to see why that's useful here in a minute, because you can have a whole bunch down here. And if you have too many, it'll go to like a second row, and then you have to choose like an arrow or pop up to get to the second row. It's a pain. But that's how you can do that. I can't see, so I'm going to put that back to big. Use peek to preview the desktop when you move your mouse to the show desktop button at the end of the taskbar. That's not really worth mentioning. Replace camp, no, don't worry about that. Show badges, don't worry about that. Taskbar location on screen. I don't know. I never have used badges. Taskbar location. This is where you can move it to the side without physically dragging it and dropping it. See, this says always hide labels. And then you can say never. If you choose never, you see it has the name right beside it. So if you like the name, then that's fine. But you won't have much room to put them, will you? So I'm going to always hide labels. If you got multiple displays, here's some options you can do there. Now, people show contacts on the taskbar. I don't have any contacts. I assume I have to be logged into Microsoft to do that. I was playing with this earlier to refresh my memory, and when I turned it off, turned it on, didn't change anything. It did change something, didn't it? This down here, do I got any people? I don't got any people because I'm not signed in. I don't use that feature. So I can shut off people to get more room or turn it on, as the case may be. Let's see. Show my people app suggestions. That's probably nothing about that. So you can close that by doing the X in the upper right-hand corner. Now you right-click. You see how there's a task manager? Again, I right-clicked on the bar down here, and there's a task manager. If I choose a task manager, does that look familiar? That's what we just looked at, wasn't it? So you don't have to remember the Control-Alt-Delete. You can just go down there and do it. People who have been using computers forever are familiar with the Control-Alt-Delete. That's why I always use it. Anybody remember what the Control-Alt-Delete used to do? Restart your computer. Yeah, if your computer hung up, Control-Alt-Delete rebooted your computer. Not unless you kill the task manager. Now it just brings up the file explorer. I mean, now it just brings up task manager. You see, there's a one that says show the desktop. If I got a bunch of windows open and I'm wanting to double click one of my icons, like here on my desktop, well, then I can right click on this and choose show the desktop, and it'll hide everything. Now let me bring up Google Chrome to show you. This is blocking my desktop, isn't it? So if I right click on this bar now and say show the desktop, okay, I think it's recording again. I'm having a bad time with video by my own doing today. We'll talk about these cascading windows here in a little bit. Yeah, isn't that a pain when it keeps hiding? Yeah, because yeah. Now, if I come up here and I right mouse clicked on the taskbar, now choose toolbars here, there's one that says address. And if you choose that, it pops up with an address down here. This is where you can, you don't have to go into a browser. If you don't have any browser running, it defaults, I think, Microsoft Edge or something like that. But if I come down here and type in a website name, like I want to go to cali.edu. So if I type in cali.edu down there and then press enter, it'll bring up your browser and web page. If I close that and I type in something like Pink Panther, it'll assume I want to search Bing for Pink Panther. Now, I don't really like that. It's taking up 20% of my bar down there. And my taskbar to me is precious. So I'm going to right click on that, choose toolbars, and I'll shut off the address. Now the links, I'm assuming, if I right click on this, go to toolbars, and go to links, the links I believe here would be apply if you had like links in Microsoft Edge, I'm guessing. I've never used it. So I'm going to shut off links. You notice that there's a, under the toolbars, there's a Lenovo Vantage toolbar. I don't know what that is. I'm going to shut it off, give myself some more space here. Now, some of you may or you don't even, yeah, you won't have it in that. You probably have something different for that brand. An HP. Yeah. Now, if you have Google Chrome down here, some of you do, some of you don't, click it and then close it. So we want that gone. Remember how we can tell if something's running down there? There's a blue line underneath it. So these two are running. So I'm going to close down my hover cam. Now, if you do have a Google Chrome link down here, you should not see a blue bar under it. Is that true? Yours doesn't even have it. And that's okay. We'll get how to add it here in a minute. Now, if you have the Google Chrome link down here, right click on it and choose Unpin from Taskbar. Do you see now how it's gone from your taskbar? Now, I don't know what this envelope is right here, but I never use it. Is it email for Microsoft? Or whatever you configure it for? See, I go to the web, Google Mail and do it, or mail.google.com. So I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm going to right click on that and see Unpin from Taskbar. I think this is the shopping, so it takes me to the Microsoft Store. I don't know what the Microsoft Store is because I never use it. So I'm going to right click on it and choose Unpin from Taskbar. I don't like Edge or Explorer or whatever this E represents. So I can right click on that and choose Unpin from Taskbar. And go ahead and do that with some of yours. You're not going to hurt anything if you got a Kali computer, so don't stress about that. These get played with quite a bit. Now, my Google Chrome over here. Everybody has a Kali, should have Google Chrome over here. If you right click on that, you see how there's a pin to taskbar? If you choose that, it'll put it down there. So everything that I use at home, the applications I use the most, I have them down there because I want to quickly be able to get into them. I don't like to search. And so that's how you can easily put them there. If you have something else on your desktop here, and all of you have different applications, but if you have something else, like I got Blender, and I'm not sure who else would have Blender, but if I right click on it, you'll see a pin to taskbar. So I'll put that down there. So you can. That's why I said this taskbar is precious to me, space-wise, because I don't want to search in my desktop. I don't want to search in the little search bar there. I want to click the button and bring it up. Everybody good about from an icon how to put something on the taskbar? Now I'm going to go back in File Explorer, and so if you got a Kali computer, you right click on it and choose Pictures, and it shouldn't hang up your File Explorer. Now if I go back to Documents, so if I click Documents over here on the left hand side, I got my Hello Mom here. Now if I right click on that, do you see anywhere where it says pin to taskbar? No. Um, I'm not sure why they didn't put that option in there. Because there may be like a spreadsheet you use daily, hourly, and you'd like it to be down there in that taskbar. Now I'm sure there's a way to put it down there, but it's not here. But if you got a program, and I'm going to show you how to search for a program. Remember Notepad that we looked at earlier? Click down in here in your type here to search, and type Notepad. You should see a Notepad app here. Now again, if you have any trouble on any of this, holler at me and I'll get up because I need exercise, obviously. So you see Notepad app here. If you right click on it, do you see how there's a pin to taskbar? You can pin this to the taskbar because it's a program, it's an application. And so if I say pin to taskbar, now my Notepad is right there. And anytime I want to run Notepad, and actually I think I'm going to leave mine there because I use that pretty often. Then all I have to do is click that, and it'll bring up Notepad. Excel. I use Excel constantly. I love Excel. So if I start typing Excel, and once you see it pop up, you right click on it, choose pin to taskbar, and you have that. I use Word pretty often. So maybe I want to put Word on there. So I'll start typing Word, right click on that, pin to taskbar. These are probably my three main applications: Word, Excel, and Google Chrome. Now over here in your File Explorer, assuming you can find an appropriate file, you can right click on it and there'll be an option to pin to taskbar. When I say appropriate file, it should be like a program you can run. Now to show that to you, over here on the left hand side you see a C drive. Yeah, or yeah, it says local C on some computers. So click that. You'll see there's a program files and program files x86. Double click program files. Let's see what's under that. You see how there's one that says Microsoft Office? Hopefully. I'm trying to pick one I think everybody will have. If you double click that, then it says Office 16. Double click that. I don't know what this is, but I have a msohtmed.exe. But anyway, look for one that says application. If you right click on it, I can't pin that one. I might have a hard time finding one you can pin. Here's one. App sharing hook controller, whatever that is. I can pin that to the taskbar. I can pin it to that taskbar because it's an application. I wonder why it won't let me pin this one. Oh, yeah, it's there. If you click pin the taskbar, it'll be down here. I wouldn't necessarily run it on your PC because I don't know what these are. I was just looking for an application. So if you got something you run, does anybody have that where you go into a folder and you double click and search for it and then you run it? Nobody does that? Okay. Then you won't probably ever have to use that. Now I'm going to right click what I just put on there and unpin it from the taskbar. Now I don't use this feature very much, but if you right click on it, you see how there's a pin to start. And so if you click the pin to start, and then you come over here to your Windows, it should be here somewhere. Well, I don't know where it's at. I never use it for a good reason. Oh, there it is. But it should also be over here, I thought. Maybe it doesn't put it over here. Yeah, I don't. Maybe it just puts it over here. Like I say, I don't use that because I put everything on my taskbar. Everybody good with pinning the taskbar and pinning the start and so forth? Now let's clean up our start. I crashed my laptop at the end of last spring. Deleted my something called a registry, and it hosed the entire laptop, and had to redo it. So they gave me and I got this new one in the meantime, so I've just started using this. I don't play games on my laptop. Um, so you see these right here. How do you think I'm gonna get rid of those? Yeah. So right click and see that there's an unpin from start. I might actually uninstall because I don't even want those. I won't do it now because it'll take a while. But unpin from start. Ooh, solitaire. Maybe I won't get rid of that. Unpin from start. I don't know what that is. Unpin from start. Unpin from start. Asphalt Street Storm. Unpin from start. If you have games on yours, you can go ahead and do the same thing to clean up the Cali one. Because I don't want them sitting there playing games when they're supposed to be listening to me. I just never have taken the time to clean those up. Here's the Xbox console companion. I'm gonna unpin that. This looks like my maps, groove music, movies and TV. I think I'll leave those there. Now, if I left mouse click, I can move that around. So again, I left mouse click and hold down, and I can move that around like that. And these over here, Spotify, I'm gonna right click, unpin from start. I don't want Skype. But if you like it in this here, you can add whatever you want to this. Like you see here, the Access 2016. If I right click on that, see how there's a pin to start, and it'll put the Access over here. They're pretty good on how to. Why is yours not there? Oh, it wasn't. Yeah. I don't watch Netflix on this. I watch on my computer sometimes. It gets late at night and I know I'm not slowing anybody down. I'm working. I'll bring up Netflix and listen to it while I'm working. Yeah, like these right here. These are individual icons. Now, how do you resize them? That I don't know how to do. Oh, right there. Resize to small. So if you like this, you can customize this. I like the taskbar. Any questions on those? I bet there's a way to create new folders here. That I have never done. I'm right clicking and it's not doing anything. Okay, enough about that. Now, if I come down here and click my Windows, this is in the very bottom left-hand corner. That's my Windows button. It'll pop this up. Over here on the left-hand side, some of you may have used this already, probably do. There's a power button. This is how you restart your computer. This is how you shut down. This next one up is a settings, and there's a lot under the settings. So we'll go ahead and click settings. This is where you can customize different things about your computer. And we'll go through all of these eventually. The first one says system. So if I type system, I click the Windows button, and I chose the little cog there. I think technically it's like a flying Windows is what Microsoft's. Yeah. I'm sure it's called by many different things. Now this is your display. You see how there's a change brightness? I have mine clear to the right because I can't see. But if I change it to the far left, now you can't see it on there. But it's very dim on my computer here. Now, by having if you're wondering, well, why do they necessarily have that, besides people that have trouble seeing, is a lot of devices, if you have it to the brightest setting, it'll consume your battery faster. I don't care because I need to see. I never used Nightlight, couldn't tell you what it does. Windows HD color settings, I never have changed that. That won't be on everybody's laptop. These are 4K screens. Down here in the scale and layout, see how it says change the size of the text, apps, and other items? 250%. Yeah, I can change it to 350%. And see how it's bigger so I can see it? So again, if you have trouble seeing, you can come here and change that. I'll put it back to 250. Some people like it doing like 100 like that. Oh, I better be able to hopefully see that. Change it back. There it is. Never thought about that. My eyes. There. I got a monitor at home that I bought, but I have not configured it yet, and I'm having a real hard time seeing it. And I'm gonna have to go make some time this weekend to go in and change the settings on here so I can see it the best. Now I'm not going to choose it here, but see how there's a resolution? If you choose a resolution, this is where you can make it so that you can have more appear on your screen, but it'll be smaller. Or you can have your screen bigger so everything's easier for you to see. Now, when you change one of these, it'll temporarily go there and it'll say, is this okay? The reason why it's saying, is this okay, is because sometimes you can choose a setting where you can't even see your screen anymore. And so if you don't click anything, it'll revert back. So it's kind of a safety feature of Windows. So if you come here with the resolution and you choose one, thinking, I want to see what that looks like on my computer at home, and you can't see anything, doesn't come back at all, don't touch anything, it'll then revert back within like however many seconds. And this is what I was playing with my new screen. If you got a 4K screen, everybody got a 4K monitor. It's just a lot more resolution and colors that appear in it. You get high definition. So like if you're watching a movie, a Blu-ray movie or something like that on your computer, it'll just appear just as crisp and detailed and so forth. If you don't have that monitor, then the fact that you're playing it doesn't matter because it's still just going to be at your lowest, what your monitor will show. Unfortunately, when you choose that, some of your applications become so small you can't hardly see them. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of 4K. See how there's an orientation, landscape, and then portrait? Uh-oh. Now see how it's saying keep changes to revert? I think it'll probably revert in 8 more seconds. Hopefully that didn't just script the video. Now there I could see the revert button, so I could have clicked it. But that's why I was talking about how to revert back if you don't start clicking. You have not that I would recommend this, but where would you think you use that? That turning your display sideways like that. Well, how about if I take my monitor and turn it sideways? Yeah, because people that do like desktop publishing, like for newspapers, not that those really exist anymore, but they want to have it, that have it linked that way. So that's where you see that. I've never done anything where I've needed that, but now I have no clue where you'd actually use these other ones. Landscape flip, what do you think that's going to do? Yeah, flip it upside down. Like I said, I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but I suppose if you're on a laptop and you put it down and they're looking at it from their side, maybe. That could be. Yeah, I'm sure there's people that use this all the time and think, yeah, I couldn't live without that.
Sometimes that's like on cell phones when people are trying to take a video with their cell phone, they'll turn their cell phone landscape, you know, won't record the landscape. So this is helpful
Oh,
when you have a video that
was
look at sideways in order to view it.
I have had things that I haven't been able to rotate. I don't even remember what package it was in. So yeah, that would be nice to temporarily do that. Now this is more if you have a multiple display, and I'm not very good at this, but if you're presenting with your laptop, and I wanted to have something on my screen here and something for you guys to see, then I could have it display here. You wouldn't be able to see it, and my other screen would be here. It's kind of like having two monitors. Usually when I do that, I screw it up, so I never touch that. I never have used 3D display, but now over here on the left-hand side, you see how there's sound. If you click sound, if you're having trouble hearing on your computer, you can come here and change the volume. Now here's a microphone. Choose your input device. If you do the drop down, I have 3 possible ways that I can have for my input for sound. The Hovercam Solo 8, which I thought I didn't realize this had sound on it, but that's my Hovercam, this right here. Obviously it has some kind of microphone on it, maybe. Microphone array, that's what comes with this laptop. It may be called different things on yours. And then echo canceling speakerphone, that's that thing right there. I have it with this camera right in front of me. That right there. It has sound built into it. So if you're trying to connect, like talk with somebody on your computer and they're not hearing you, it could be you need to come here and choose a different input device. Like I'm going to unplug my Hovercam. It automatically was smart enough to recognize, hey, your Hovercam's gone. And it changed me to these two here. And if you're watching this YouTube video later and now it's gone completely silent and there's no sound, it's because I wasn't supposed to do that. I'll learn eventually. It may take me 20 years. Here's a tester microphone, so if you're getting online. Okay, notifications and actions. You come here. I really don't do much with this. Get tips and tricks and suggestions as you use Windows. Get notifications from apps and other senders. Um, show reminders and incoming voice over IP calls on the lock screen. If you don't like a bunch of notifications popping up, then you can shut these off. Get notifications from these senders. Cooking fever. I know I don't want notification from that one, so I'll click off. Cortana, I can shut off. Lenovo, it pops up every now and then. Boy, I want to shut that one off, so I'm going to go ahead and shut that one off. Because I'll be in the middle of class, and it'll pop up saying, hey, I got drivers I want to install. And sometimes I click it by accident. I did that one time, and I had to wait for about 10 minutes for it to install the drivers before I could continue on in the class. Lots of notifications. Okay. Focus Assist. I never really used that very much. I think I've played with it before, but I never have used those. Power and sleep. This is something that's useful. Um, when I install software, I'll go in my office and I'll be installing the software, and I'll look, and it's gone like into sleep mode because no activity and so forth. Even though I'm installing software, if you don't want your computer to go to sleep, then this is where you set it. You see here for this is a screensaver. It says when you're on battery power, turn off after 5 minutes. When plugged in, turn off after, and I want to choose there, and I want to choose never. If I'm plugged in, I never want it to shut off. I don't care how much Cali's paying for their electrical bill. I want it to stay on. I never have my laptop sleep at home either. But if you're on battery power, it's nice because what happens if you leave and you're on battery power? Die after a certain period of time. And here, when plugged in, I never want this to, so I'll scroll down, choose never. But that's your settings for power and sleep. You can adjust that however you want for at home. Used to be a big deal. Not a big deal anymore. But it used to be if you left your computer on all night and you had an old monitor, it burnt into your monitor. Remember those days? Yeah. So this was a very valuable thing. Now these monitors are such that I don't think you could burn anything into them. The battery, if you come here, this will tell you how much battery you have. So I got mine plugged into the wall here, so it's telling me I got 100%. Battery saver, that kind of really helps me. I'd never shut that off because sometimes I forget to plug it in, and all of a sudden everything goes real dim on my laptop, and that's telling me it's getting ready to die if I don't plug it in soon. So I wouldn't recommend touching anything on that. Now this is what's causing it to go dim. See how it says lower screen brightness while in battery saver. And you see it's set to trigger at 20%. At 20%, that gives me time to plug in my laptop. Excuse me. Now I go to storage, and here it says I have C drive. Tells me I have a total of 953 gigabyte. That GB means gigabyte. This refers to my hard drive. And see how it says 224 gigabytes used? If on your computer, if it's up about 80 or 90% of your total disk space, that's when you need to think about cleaning off some files. You get too many, and it'll cause some system crashes, corruption, and so forth. So this is just kind of a help on that. Now, right down here, Windows can automatically free up space by getting rid of files you don't need, like temporary files and content in your recycle bin. And so you can turn this on, and that'll automatically clean those up for you. Remember the recycle bin? That's where our deleted files go, isn't it? So if you want them automatically, then you can click that to clean them up. And I never go to my recycle bin, so I'll go ahead and leave that on. Now you see here there's a free up space now. That'll get rid of your temporary files, and that'll get rid of everything in your recycle bin. So if you're like in desperate straits because your hard drive is about full, then you can come here and you can click the free up space now. Now see how it says change how we free up space automatically? If you click that, then this will give you some more options. Delete temporary files, deletement of a recycle bin if it's been for over 30 days. If you deleted a file 30 days ago, do you necessarily want it anymore? No. So you can have this cleaned up. You can have it cleaned up after 60 days, whatever you want to set on that. Now I clicked into that and it took me a different screen, didn't it? You notice in the upper left-hand corner, there's an arrow. So this arrow right up here, if you click that, that'll go back to your previous screen. I'm not going to go into tablet mode because I don't got a tablet. Here's multitasking. Probably not a whole lot useful there that you'll find. This talks about snapping windows automatically. We're going to see better ways to do that. Projecting to this PC, I'm not going to worry about that. That's more if you're trying to work with not just your individual PC, but trying to like project your screen and so forth. Shared experiences, never have used. What is shared experiences? Share content with a nearby device by using Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So if I want to share something with Lenny, he has to have his turned on, assuming, and then there must be some way I can share that. Interesting. Clipboard. Remember when you copy or cut something in Windows, it's copied to the clipboard for you to paste. And we looked at that, where you could copy a file and paste it somewhere else. Now here, the clipboard history. Save multiple items to the clipboard to use later. Press the Windows logo and the V to view your clipboard history and paste from it. The clipboard just by default allows us to do one item at a time. If you want a history of different things, then you choose that on there. And that's probably not bad. We'll talk more about that desktop there. I remember that because I'm gonna forget it. Windows key and V. So Windows V. Actually, we write that down. Okay, now that we got that on, let's go to Google Chrome. And Google.com. Learn how to speak someday. And search for Pink Panther. Now, in theory, we turned on that history, didn't we? Which means I should be able to right-click on this image and choose Copy Image. Let me right-click on this image and choose Copy Image. Right-click on this one, choose Copy Image. Right-click on this one, choose Copy Image. Right-click on that one, choose Copy Image. And it doesn't matter what images you have on your screen. Just right-click on 2 or 3 of them or 4 and copy image. We're going to see if that actually works like I think it does. Now I'm going to go into Word, go into blank document. And I'm going to do what did it tell us? Windows V? Yeah, clipboard is empty. That's interesting. Let me come over here again. Let me choose copy link address. And right click, choose copy link address, right click, copy link address. Windows V. Ah, see how we have multiple things? So if you have multiple items, this is where you can have them on your clipboard. Maybe ever paste something in all over and over? Like you got a standard response? At the Union Rescue Mission, they email out to donors, to people to thank them for their donation and so forth. The guy that does it, he types each person an individual email, but basically it says the same thing. We appreciate the donation you made, blah blah blah. We look forward to working with you in the future and so forth. So how could he instead of typing that in brand new each time, use his clipboard? If he copies it and pastes it, then he can does the copy and then he pastes it in each email and he can send it that way. He'd save himself probably hours and hours by just doing a copy of the clipboard and then paste it in. Did they get their multiple clipboard? No? Let's see. Go over to Google Chrome. Now right click on Windows and choose copy link address. And that's fine. Address. Now right click on the one next to it. Choose copy link address. Now go over to Word. Down here and search that. What pops up it'll say blank. Now do hold on your Windows button.
Now, earlier when you were doing the sidebar thing there, yours had clipboard as the thing.
Yours didn't?
Might have a different version.
That I do have a newer version here. Never mind that about the mobile clipboard then, because this laptop is about a year newer.
Some feature, and I did get a message earlier in that listed not understand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, don't worry about that multiple then. If I click one last thing, because I know we're out of time, but if I click one last thing that's about, this will come up and give you all the details. So like when you're talking to somebody on the phone and they'll ask you details about your computer, if you come up to the about, see I have an i7. i7 is good. i5 is not bad. i3 is slow. I couldn't tell you about the other type of processor. This is Intel. There's AMD and I have no clue what's good or bad there. But if you read that to them, they'll tell you. It says I have installed RAM of 16 gigabyte. If you're going to buy a computer, if you come here and go to the About, this will very quickly tell you some of that useful information. If I was buying a new laptop, I would want an i7. i5 if you're just going to browse the internet. If you're going to do any kind of Excel and so forth, I'd go with an i7. For RAM, 4 is kind of minimal. It'll run slow. 8 gigabyte is the minimum I'd go with if I was buying a laptop. And see, yours goes kind of slow, doesn't it? So what do you have? Do you have an i5, I'm guessing? Oh, AMD. Yeah. Now, if I scroll down here, this tells me that I got Windows 10 Professional. Some of you may just have Windows 10. It won't say Professional. It'll tell what it's installed on, give me the serial number. That serial number is important sometimes because they'll ask you, what is your serial number if you call tech support? And you can very easily find it here. Versus, I've done this before, where I'm sitting here searching on the bottom of this, and I'm half blind, and I can't read this even if I have my glasses. I can't read the serial number on that. So it's right there on your. Yeah, for the Windows specification. Now a lot of them don't even put all the Windows stuff on your computer anymore. Remember how they used to put all the Windows specifications on it? So yeah. That's really all under that. Well, next time we'll continue on. There's lots of other settings in that same cog, so we're going to continue on with the cog, but we'll call it quits there. You're welcome. Have a good night. Hoping my video